Yeah, no, welcome to a new season of the GP4 Offline Championship. We are here for the first round, the Australian Grand Prix at Melbourne for the 2018 GP4 Offline Championship season, the 30th time we have been here at Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. And I am your commentator, George, as usual, and we're here the first of 6 races on the 2018 calendar, 6 teams having won here over the past 12 seasons, Ferrari being the most, winning 5, Red Bull winning second, and 4 other teams winning just once. Previous winners here have included Joshua Anderson, Will Niller, Miklas Gal, Waze Kuba, Evan Byrne, Florian Volker, Robert Ionescu, Joseph Willers and Amar Carr. So the question is, will there be another new winner here at Australia? 58 laps around the streets of Melbourne, which in real life are used as normal roads when they're not used for the Australian Grand Prix. A circuit length of 5.303 kilometres, 16 corners, the lap record set by Will Niller, a 1:23.563. So we're now going to take a look at the tyres that we're going to use for this race, which will be the hard tyres, the blue stripe tyres. And the driver of the day from the last round, the Brazilian Grand Prix, was Franco Lopez, and the race given a 9.5 out of 10. So there we go. So now we'll take a look at the starting grid for the first race of the new season. And on the front row it is Franco Lopez for Mercedes, with Joseph Willers alongside him in Ferrari. Franco Lopez trying to make the perfect start and get his first ever OC win in the Mercedes. Third position is Amar Carr for Ferrari. Fourth place, a very impressive performance by Joel Hutter, in which no one expected him to be there at Red Bull for this season. Fifth place is Florian Volker for Mercedes, and Jay McKenzie in Renault, a great performance by him. On the fourth row of the grid we have the 2 Hungarians, Robert Mojin out-qualifying his fellow Hungarian Miklas Gal in a slower car as well. Good performance by him. Roberto Gamba in 9th position and Felix Sontag 10th, qualifying by both drivers there. Felix Sontag going back to Williams. Evan Byrne 11th for Renault, and Enis Parachi and is in 12th position for Toro Rosso. 13th position is Laura Chung, an all-new lineup at Toro Rosso. 14th place Gabriel Gomez making his return for Sauber. On the 8th row of the grid we have Thierry now turned for Force India and Franco Gamba for Haas. It seems weird him being in a new team. 17th position is George Roque with Kirosma De Rossa alongside him, 18th for McLaren. On row 10 of the grid we have Paulino Tomaselli for Sauber and Etienne Jones for Manor. And on the last row of the grid, 21st and 22nd position, is Lean Campana for Williams and Maxime Titkov for Manor. So that is the grid for the first round of the season. Weather-wise, for the Australian Grand Prix, it will be a dry, sunny day and no chance of rain. So let's get this show on the road. So here we go. So we are now on the grid for the first race of the 2018 season. I'm very much looking forward to this new season, new gen of cars with the halo, of course. The 5 laps are coming on for the first time in 2018. And we're underway for the Australian Grand Prix, and it looks like Franco Lopez has made a decent start off the front row as they head towards the first corner. And will Willers be able to make a move on the inside? I don't think so, and he's not going to be able to. And it looks like Carr might go around the outside and take second place from Willers, which he does. A great overtake there by Amar Carr. What a start by him. And now Willers could be overtaken by Volker behind if he's not careful as they head towards turn 3. But a great start by Carr, great start by Lopez. Side by side between Willers and Volker for P3. Willers on the inside, which will now be the outside for the next corner. Will he keep it round the outside? He will. And now for the right-hander, will he have the run into the corner? Or will Volker get it? And no, Volker's got the run and he takes third position. Not the start that Joseph Willers would have wanted. And a good start actually by Sontag if we look through the rest of the order. Mackenzie's made an awful start. He was 6th position. He's dropped all the way down to 12th. I don't know what on earth's happened to him. But and Lean Campana's got some damage, and so has a Manor there. So we're on board with the American driver heading towards the first corner. And it looks like he's made contact with the Manor in front of, I think it's Maxime Titkov. And yes, he has. Not a good start for him. So let's have a look on board with Jay McKenzie, who started in 6th position, had such a great qualifying. Didn't make it such a bad start. But look at that, Mojin just snaking his way through there. He made a great start for the Force India. And then round the outside goes Gal, and he makes it through. And then so does Roberto Gamba, and then so does Sontag as well. So Mackenzie already down to 10th at the first corner. And then he loses 2 more positions. Obviously it must be in the next couple of corners. So not the start that Mackenzie would have wanted. Just got absolutely swallowed up by the rest of the field there. So we're going to have a look at what happened to him. So actually Byrne made a move on the inside into turn 3 and made it up into 10th position. And they look so close. Byrne really trying to steer all the way to the right so he doesn't go into Mackenzie. That looks incredibly close. And here we are on board with Enis Parachki. And let's have a look on board with him into turn 3. So he must have got past Mackenzie, and there was Chung trying to go around the outside of him, but Parachki managed to get through past Mackenzie, and what a terrible start for him. As we're looking at Evan Byrne all over the back of Felix Sontag in the Williams 4-9 position. Sontag getting a terrible run through the corner there, going quite wide. But Lopez already extending the gap as Mackenzie has lost more positions. He's lost it to Gomez, and now Roke has snuck through past him. So Jay Mackenzie, what a horrendous start. 6th position, and after 2 laps he has dropped 10 positions down to 16th. So Gabriel Gomez tried to make a move on the inside, and he did, but there wasn't any contact. Mackenzie just went way off the track, and then Roke managed to sneak his way through as well. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, what a terrible start. Mackenzie, just look at that, goes wide. And fuel-wise, he's got a lot of fuel, so it probably explains why he's so slow. Now here is Enis Parachki, who is trying to make a move on Mackenzie, and does he make it stick? No, he doesn't, on Byrne, I should say, sorry. And then Laura Chung getting very close to his rear wing there. She needs to be careful not to go into his teammate, or into her teammate, I should say. Now we're looking at Paolina Tomaselli, who's on the back of Laura Chung. Now let's see if she can defend from the Italian. Tomaselli all over the back of her. And let's have a look. Byrne on the inside of Sontag, and he can't make it stick. He's being held up quite a lot. The gap from Sontag to 8th position is quite a bit. And I think Tomaselli did get past Chung, and yes, he did. So Chung unable to defend. Let's have a look on board with Tomaselli coming into turn 3. Just gets the slipstream off the corner, and Chung does move over to the right, but it's not enough for her. And Tomaselli manages to make the move for 12th position there. So good move there by Tomaselli. Now here we are looking at Joseph Willows right now running on his own in this is Carr, I should say, running on his own in P2. Now here we are looking at Byrne trying yet again to get past Sontag, and he fails into the first corner. But Sontag, look at how slow he's going. He's really struggling to keep him behind. But now Enis Parachki's behind, Tomaselli is there, and I imagine Chung's probably close behind as well. But Tomaselli now on the back of Parachki, and he's going to try and make a move into turn 3, and it looks like I think Tomaselli might do it, because Parachki doesn't put up a defence. And yes, Tomaselli makes it up into 11th position. So a good start so far for Tomaselli, who started low down the order. And Gomez now all over the back of Parachki. So let's see if he's going to be able to make the move on the Macedonian driver, the first Macedonian driver in the top tier in the OC. So Gomez in the slipstream, so I imagine he'll make a move into the right-hander coming onto the back straight. Now Byrne, again in the slipstream of Sontag, he's just still not quite close enough. So Sontag moves to the right and defends. He's going to get a bad run through the corner. That's going to allow Tomaselli to close up behind as well. So he's got to be careful, Byrne. He needs to get this done quickly, because Tomaselli does seem pretty quick so far in this race in the Sauber, or Alfa Romeo, whatever you want to call it. Byrne almost tapping Sontag coming through there, and that could have been very deadly. But now he's surely going to have Tomaselli on all over the back of him. And he's just about there. We're just waiting to see what they do. But clearly Byrne is the quicker car, but he just can't get past the Williams of Sontag right now. Now here is Jones trying to get past De Rossa there for 19th, so it's not a good start for De Rossa. He's really struggling at the back of the field. And as so far, 22 cars are still running, and so far actually it's been a pretty clean start. Now Tyrrell as well, not having a good start as well. He's really struggling for pace compared to his teammate Moitian. Now here is Byrne. Has he finally made the move on Sontag for P9 into turn 1? And the answer is yes, he has. It has taken him a while, but he has done it. So there we go, and now Tomaselli's all over the back of Sontag. Will he get through past the German? And I imagine he's trying to. Sontag's really defending from Tomaselli, but he can't quite make the move stick there. So he has to stay behind. But now the cork in the bottle is open. Byrne has got past. Now everyone else behind Sontag is going to be all over the back of him. So we're looking at Florian Volker right now on the Mercedes, running in 30s. I think he's closing on a car in front of him. Willows is not that far back from him either. Moichin is doing a pretty decent job as well. He's actually not that far off these guys, and he's in the slowest car of the lot. Now here's Tomaselli trying to make a move on Sontag. There's contacts, and Sontag's wide. Tomaselli is through. He's up into 10th, and Sontag's going to lose a number of positions. The two Toro Rossos, the two Hazes go by, and he's now all the way down to P15. So that's unfortunate for Sontag. As I said, the corking bottle had opened, and unfortunately just a little bit too close for comfort there. And I think there was actually contact behind between Gomez and Parachki as well, I think. They seem to lock up as well going into the corner, but Sontag losing a number of positions there. Volker definitely seems to be closing onto the back of Carl, that is for sure. Hutter right now not too far off the back of watching Gal on his own right now. I think he must be on heavy fuel. There's a yellow flag out somewhere on the circuit, and it's Maxim Titkov who is out of this race, and not a good debut for him, unfortunately, although it was out of his control with Lean Campana going to the back of him at the first corner on lap 1. So not the debut that he would have wanted, but of course there's still 20 more races to go in this season. So here we are looking at him. He was actually on the back of Lincoln Partner, so he was keeping pace with him actually, which is pretty impressive in the manner. And then there it goes, and the engine blows up, so that is his race over and out. So he pulls off to the side of the circuit, and he is the unfortunate recipient of the first retirement of the season. So there we are. Now here we are looking at Franco Gamba, who is trying to overtake Jay McKenzie in the Renault, and he seems to have done that. He's on the inside, and that's a pretty good move. There was nearly contact, but Franco Gamba makes the move very cleanly, so good job there by him, although he makes a mistake actually, a little mistake coming through the next corner there, but fortunately gets away with it. Now here is Felix Sontag, and he seems to really be struggling, and he's gone off again at the same corner, and oh dear, and we're looking at the onboard of De Rossa, who's running on his own in 90th position. The yellow flag out obviously still for Titkov's car, and then there's Sontag, who's coming back onto the track, right into the path of De Rossa, and that is both cars out of the race. Oh dear me, that is not a good rejoin from Sontag there. Now here is now Turnen, who looks to be sneaking up the inside of Mackenzie here, and he does make it past him, having been passed by Franco Gamba. So let's have a look on board, from the view of Sontag I should say, and then coming out of, or just rejoins right onto the track, right in the line of sight of Kirosima De Rossa, and that was just the worst time possible. Wrong place at the wrong time, and no surprise the incident between the two will be under investigation. I would not be surprised if Sontag gets a penalty for that. Here we are looking at Lincoln Partner going through all the wreckage, and he's hit debris. What a disastrous debut it has been for the American as well. Hits Titkov on the first lap, and now he hits debris from his own teammate. That is a double whammy. Now here's Volker, who's actually caught up to the back of Carr, and they make contact, and Carr still keeps second position there, but Volker has been gradually closing every lap it seems, and right there he was much quicker than him through, had the slipstream, tried to make the move. I don't think it was really on. Carr had it covered, just not quite enough, and although Volker was really going for it, Carr, you could say, moved over, but I don't think the move was really on, and right there was the contact from Volker, but fortunately no damage is done to either car, but that will just make Volker annoyed, and probably Carr annoyed as well. And there was the contact again on the replay right there. Fortunately no damage, but they can go on. But this is good news for Franco Lopez up front, because it means his gap will extend, and he's clearly got the pace of these guys behind. Now here we are looking at Evan Byrne, who's caught up to the back of Roberto Gamba, so probably imagine if he hadn't got stuck behind Sontag for so long, he probably would have been past him by now. But Evan Byrne trying to move on the inside of the Italian into the first corner, not going to work, and tries to go back, do the little switcheroo, but now he's got Tomaselli actually, who's closed up to the back of Byrne as well, and Byrne might be a sitting duck here. Tomaselli on the inside, and will Tomaselli make the move for P9? The answer is yes. So far a great performance by Paolino Tomaselli, and Evan Byrne unfortunately got well and truly mugged there by him. And oh, Laura Chung is around, and what has happened to her? She has spun. That is coming into turn 3, so I'm not sure what has happened to the Chinese driver. So here we are looking on board with George Roque, who makes a contact there, just almost nudges her out of the way. Quite ruthless there from George Roque, and there we go. So you can see, I don't think the move was really on there, which just wasn't enough room, I think, for Roque to make the move, to be honest. But Chung gets spun around and loses a number of positions. I have to say, looking at that slow-mo, I do like the look of those tyres. But there was the contact, just says bye, and yeah, there we go. Now we're looking, there's a car coming into the pits there. I believe that was Volker, and yes, Florian Volker is going to come into the pits. So I believe this could be a 3-stop strategy, I think. Maybe, I'm not sure. But here we're looking at Etienne Jones, who's got an issue. Etienne Jones has got a problem. Not been a good race for the Manners so far, and he is now going into the pits. And unfortunately, Franco Lopez is going to go past, but Volker is going to try the undercut on Carr. He's having failed to overtake him, so let's see if this works for Volker or not. So Volker now comes into the pits from P3. It does feel weird seeing Volker in a Mercedes and not in a Ferrari. It just doesn't look right, really. But I have to get used to that throughout the whole season. But as we look at Volker coming into the pits, and let's see fuel-wise how much they put in, and yeah, it's not much. So I think that is definitely going to be a 3-stop strategy for Volker. As we see a Red Bull that's coming to the pits, that is, I think that's Joel Hutter who's in. Hutter, who so far has performed very well in this race and in qualifying as well. At the moment, he's comfortably outpaced his teammate Gal all weekend. So he now rejoins. Don't think it's quite as quick as the Mercedes. But as Volker comes out, where does he come out? Does he come out ahead in clear air? Yes, he does, and so will Hutter. So right now for these two, it's looking pretty good. They're both in clear air. Tomaselli right now running in 8th place. He's actually going to be pitting this lap as well. It probably explains why his car's been pretty quick. But so far, been a good recovery from Tomaselli so far in this race, burning 9th. And I think Parachki has just passed Roberto Gamba for 10th into turn 1. And now Gomez could try and go after Gamba as well. Good move there by the Macedonian, and so far Parachki has raced pretty well in his first race in the top tier. Now we're looking at Gomez all over the back of the Italian of Roberto Gamba. Now here we are looking at Carr, who's got a lot more fuel. Franco Lopez actually is going to come into the pits this lap, so it looks like maybe the Mercedes are going for both of them a 3-stopper, or if, let's see if Lopez will be doing a 2-stop. He had a big gap actually over Carr behind. Well, I suppose Carr, as I was helping him out, Volker couldn't make it through. So let's see the amount of fuel they put into Franco's car. The answer is, oh, that is quite a lot more. So it looks like Mercedes are doing a 2-stop for Lopez, but a 3-stop for Volker. So that's going to be interesting to see if that or how that plays out. Really, Lopez is going to be on a lot of fuel, but he's been by far the quicker driver than anyone. So he relinquishes the lead. So he's going to drop down into, is it 5th place? He's in 4th at the moment. Will he drop down behind Gal? I don't think he will, as he comes out of the pits. And yep, he's going to come out just ahead, it looks like, of Etienne Jones. That pit exit there, Australia, always provides some entertainment. It's always quite a sketchy pit exit, probably the most sketchiest of the season, really. As Jones is now trying to pass Franco Lopez into turn 3. He's not going to like that if he does, and he decides not to. He's better off. But now Gal trying to lap Jones and Campana in a battle here. Thomas, as you can just see there, is in the pits, but Armar Carr at the moment leading this race, and he's going a lot longer than both Mercedes. Willows does seem to be closing up to him. He's only 1 second, so we could see a battle there. Chung is in the pits as well for Toro Rosso. Here's Gomez on the inside of Roberto Gamba, and does he make it stick? I'm not sure. The Haas driver is getting quite close as well. And as we look at this battle for P10, but Gomez is pitting this lap. I think one of the Haas cars is as well. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was, I think it was Franco Gamba possibly that is pitting, but Gomez is in anyway. And is Franco Gamba in the pits as well? I believe he is. I think so. Yeah, I think that's the Haas car. So I think it is Franco Gamba, and yes, it is. So Gomez comes in. A lot of drivers pitting around the same time. It's going to be a pit stop battle here between the Sauber mechanics and the Haas mechanics. So will Gomez stay in front of Franco Gamba? And it seems to be a long stop there, and the answer is no. Franco Gamba has jumped Gomez in the stop there, so good work from the Haas mechanics. And they've also fitted all 4 wheels on the car, well, at least I think so, right at this moment in time. So good stop there by Haas. So Gamba jumps Gomez in the stop there. Now Willers is right behind his teammate Carr, and actually Willers has got lighter fuel than what Carr has, and now Rela Moitian is coming into the pits for Force India. So far Moitian having a great race, and race control decided Sonntag will receive a 10-place grid penalty for causing the incident with the roster. I think that is a fair judgment. I wouldn't have been surprised if he did get a penalty. I would have been more surprised if he didn't get anything for that, to be honest, because that was generally quite a rejoin, a very unsafe rejoin. As we're looking at Rela Moitian, so he's to be going quite long on this stop, but it's going to be a 2-stop for him. But so far Moitian has performed very well in this race. Be interesting to see if he comes out ahead of Hutter or not, because those two are in a battle. But Hutter does come out ahead of Moitian. I think he was ahead of him on track. I can't remember off the top of my head. And here we are looking at Volker, who's made his way past Miklos Gal in the Red Bull. So Gal so far not on the pace of his teammate Hutter right now, but no surprise, Volker goes past him very, very easily. Gal thinking better off not battling with Volker. That's not his race. And yeah, Gal is definitely going, looks like probably for the 1-stop, I think. But here we are looking at the battle between the 2 Ferraris still going on. Carr and Willers. Willers is going to pit first before Carr. As we see, Enis Parachki is coming in for his first stop of the race. as we look at the two Ferraris heading towards down the, I say the back straight, it's not really a straight. As they come through the fast left, fast right. I mean, if you get that wrong, it can, yeah, we've seen many crashes in real life. It's a scary corner. It's fun if you get it right, but if you get it wrong, then yeah, you are well and truly done for. But now Willows is going to come into the pits and is going to try and undercut his teammate, who is clearly slower, but is going a little bit longer. So we'll see how this works out for Willows. So into the pits he comes. We'll change all 4 tyres. So where will he come out on track, actually? Will he come out ahead of Volker? The answer is no, he doesn't. So, but he'll close up to him, because Volker did pit quite a while ago, of course. So that is 7.4 seconds stop for Willows. So the question is actually, will he come out ahead of the 2 Red Bulls battling? So Hutter actually has gone past Gal. So I think Hutter has actually jumped or done the overcut on Willows here. And he could even be in danger, Willows, of being overtaken by Moichin if he's not careful. And yes, Moichin, has he got past? Yes, he has. So it's actually not worked out. The overcut is very powerful here, because both Hutter and Moichin have jumped Willows in the stop there. So that is very, very interesting indeed. So here we are looking at George Roque, who is on the back of Roberto Gamba, and this is the battle for P9, as Roque is set to come across the line. Evan Byrne is in the pits as well for Renault. And here we are looking at Franco Lopez, who is already onto the back of car in front of him. And now here we go. Is he going to make the move into the first corner? He's in the much quicker car. And Lopez is surely just going to go past car with ease. Actually, would he put up a defence? Yes, he does actually. He does put up a defence. But Lopez goes for it anyway. Dives into the first corner and takes the lead. He was not going to be held up by car for long. And wow, that was some move. You don't really see many late moves like that. I thought car had defended it, but Lopez just went for it and took the position. Fair play. That is a great move by the Argentine driver there. So Lopez taking no prisoners today. So now into the pits comes George Roque for Haas for his first stop of the race. Qualifying wasn't great for both drivers, really. Now here's a battle for ninth position. This is now Turner battling with Mackenzie, and here's Tomaselli, who's trying to pass both of these two. I don't believe now Turner nor Mackenzie have pitted yet. I know they haven't. Now Turner's pitting this lap, and now Turner's going to keep the position. I thought Mackenzie had it there, but he keeps ninth by getting a better run off the corner there. Now Mackenzie's going to try another move into turn 3, is he? And he's going to try it. No, I don't think he's quite got enough there. It's very close. But now Turner keeps the position, but he is pitting, so Tomaselli will be relieved that one of these two is going to be getting out of his way. But unfortunately, he's got the Toro Rosso Parachki right behind him as well for company. Now here is going to be an interesting battle. So Moichin, who's got ahead of Willows in the stops, and so has Joel Hutter, as actually Armor Car is coming into the pits this lap. So both Ferraris could be behind the Force India, or they will be for sure. As we look at now Turner really defending vigorously from Mackenzie behind him, still unable to make the move. As we look, he's in the slipstream. He's surely not going to make the move down the straight, is he? No, there's not any opportunity to overtake here. But at the end of the second back straight, I'll call it, he might make a move. But Mackenzie's got to get this done, although he's going to be pitting soon anyway. But he's got Tomaselli, the quicker driver, behind him on fresher tyres. Mackenzie can't make it stick through there, so they'll have to wait until the back straight. We've got a yellow flag, and Joel Hutter is out! Joel Hutter is out of the race, and actually he hadn't pitted. I was wrong, I assumed he had. Joel Hutter is out of this race, and it's such a shame. He was having such a good race for Red Bull now, and oh dear me, and that is not good for Hutter. He was having a very encouraging race. He had the measure over his teammate Gao, and unfortunately for him, the suspension, you can see the front left suspension has gone on the car. That is his race done and dusted. There we go. Gutted for Joel Hutter, who had such a great qualifying and was having a pretty good race as well. Definitely in with a chance of some good points. Podium probably not in the question, but certainly top 5 at least. Now here is Willows on the back of Renault Moichin in the Force India. He doesn't make the move stick there, and as they come through, Willows all over the back of him, as we see Lopez right now on his own in the lead car coming into the pits. So Lopez is going to have a very comfortable gap out front by the look of it. So now into the pits Omar Car will come, and there we go. So he is going to be doing the 2-stop, but the question is well, how good is his pace is the big question. So car comes in, and let's see how quick the mechanics work on his car. So here we go, changing all 4 tyres. It'll be a 2-stop of course, and let's see how quick is the stop. Pretty quick. I think that was 6.1. that stop was, so that was not bad from Ferrari. Pretty quick stop by them, but the question is, where will he come out? He will come out as Gal is passing the lap car there, so he might actually come out ahead of Willis here, possibly. And yeah, and he might, actually no he won't. There's Moichin, who is trying to lap the Williams there, and he does it. And now he's going to be on the back of the Red Bull of Gal. So car, unfortunately for both Ferraris, it really hasn't worked out for them at all. They've been jumped by Moichin. And, well, yeah, and they had been jumped by Hutter, but they've been jumped by Moichin here. So far, a great race by the Hungarian driver, but for the Ferraris, unfortunately, it's not going particularly well, as they finally get past, or Willers gets past Campana, and now Carr will get past him as well. Now here is Volker coming up to the back of the Force India of now Tyrrell and set to lap him. He is going to be pitting this lap as well, so Gal, one of the few drivers actually yet to make a stop, as Volker trying to go down the inside of now Tyrrell there, not going to work, but he doesn't need to worry because he's pitting anyway, and he goes past the Force India. So now he will go into the pits for his second, but not his final stop. He'll be making one more before the end. So into the pits he goes, and we'll see where he comes out. I think I imagine he might come up behind. Actually, would he come up behind the two Ferraris? I'm not sure. Actually, he could. It will be very close to see if he does. So into the pits he comes, and here we are. So into the pits, changes all four tyres. I think he'll come up probably in between the Ferraris and Moichin. I think. Out of the pits he comes. And it was a pretty quick stop by Mercedes. That's 5.7. And so let's see, will he come out ahead of this gaggle of cars is the big question. And there is Gal, and Volker is there. Where is Moichin? Where are they? And no, he's going to come up behind Willows. And I was right, he did come up in between the two Ferraris, I think. Yes, comes up behind the two Ferraris. So it's not worked out for Volker either. So for Moichin, it really has worked out for him. And at this moment in time, as he goes past Gal, who is on the one stop and obviously not in the same race as these guys, so Moichin right now is in a legit position battling for the podium. He's managed to do the longest overcut in history and has got ahead of both Ferraris and Volker as well. But the thing is, they'll all be on fresher tyres than Moichin. So, but at the moment in time, Gal is holding Willow's car and Volker up pretty well. So for Moichin, it's a pretty good race from so far. He really is performing very well in that car, and he needs to get away a little bit more though, so he can have a bit of a gap ahead of the two if he wants to stand a chance at the podium. Here's Parachki battling with the Alpha there. Now Willow's trying to make a move on the inside of Gal, and does he do it? Yes, Gal locks up a bit, gets a little bit out of shape, but he does make the move stick on the Hungarian, and it was nailed that was going to happen. But Gal tried his best, locks up there, really struggling with the tyres. Now here we are looking at Gal, who's under pressure now from Volker behind. He's going to try and make a move on the outside, not going to work. He's going to try to swap to the inside, that doesn't work at all. A little tap there from Volker, letting him know he's there, but that's going to lose Volker a huge ton of time there, and he didn't necessarily need to do that. So that's going to cost Volker a lot of time there. And as we see, it was Enis Parachki actually in the pits as well for the Toro Rosso. Now finally Gal does come in for his first and I believe his only stop of the race. So he comes in, and so far for Gal, struggled on pace compared to his teammate Hutter, but he will finish ahead of him nonetheless, because of course he's not racing. So Gal comes in to the pits, changes all four tyres, and he'll of course go to the end. So it's going to be a pretty lonely race for Gal, not been on top of the drivers in front of him, so we'll see. Well, we know where he's going to finish. He's going to finish probably just outside the top 5 by the looks of it. Now here is Moichin. This is a battle for second place, and I don't see how Moichin is going to be able to hold these guys up for much longer. Willis is now on the inside of Moichin, heading towards turn 1. Surely Willis is going to make the move stick, is he? And yes, he does. And now Volker's going to be all over the back of Moichin, and so is Carr there, and Carr's ready and waiting to take Volker if he can't get past Moichin quickly. But Carr's going to try and make a move on Volker into turn 3, and he can't make it stick there. Volker defends. Now here we are, they're trying it again. Carr will try again on Volker, and the answer is he still can't do it. And Moichin really trying his best to hold off these guys. I think it's going to be all for naught though. As we see, we're looking on board with Roque, who goes around the outside, does it, of Gomez, and they were just lapped by Lopez there. So great move there by Roque, going around the outside of Gomez, taking advantage as Gomez was slowing to let Franco Lopez by. Now here's the battle once again, and Moitin gets a bad run off the final corner, and surely Volker has got the move done into turn 1. He's on the inside, and surely he's made it stick. He's past him now, and yes, he makes it up into 3rd position, but Moitin done a great job holding them up for as long as he could. And now Carr surely is going to make the move past Moitin for 4th position. Actually, Jones is there trying to get past Carr as well, but he shouldn't try it really, because as Moitin moves across, and there's Jones really sticking his nose in where it doesn't belong. He needs to just stay behind these guys. He probably is quicker on fresher tyres, but he can't do anything about it because they're in a legit battle for position, really. But Volker right now running in P3. Willow's got a comfortable gap ahead of him. But the good news for Volker is that Carr is not really gaining on him, so Volker on his own is actually, Carr I think has passed Moitin at last actually. And let's see how he did it. So he's in the Citroen coming through the fast left and right. And yeah, Moitin gets another bad run off the corner. Did he make a mistake? He must have made a mistake. And yes, he made a slight error there, slight twitch, and that he got a bad run at the corner, and Carr went by him there. But Moitin, fair play to him, he's done a great job trying to hold up these guys, and he's pitting earlier than the rest of them, so he is trying his best, really, Moitin, to get a top 5 finish out of this race. If he does, then fair play to, well, I think he can, really, because Gal is going to the end. Well, he'll have to pass Gal, actually, on track, which I just realised, of course, Gal's not pitting, so he will have to pass him, but I think he'll easily be able to do that, as Roberto Gamma has gone wide under pressure from Parachki, and he's lost another position, and Willows is there, and he now has to go past him. So was there contact from Parachki? The answer was nope. Gamba just made an error on his own, and Parachki said thank you very much, and takes 12th position away, and Gamba will be pitting in a few laps' time. Goes a bit wide there, as you can see. Now here is Laura Chung, who sneaks past Roberto Gamba just to compound his misery as he was being lapped by the Ferrari there. So good move there by the Chinese driver. Now here we are looking at, this is I think Volker looking at this battle between, I think this is Roberto Gamba and Chung still going on, and they need to realise that the blue flag is out, as here's Roke trying to pass his teammate, and he goes into the back of his teammate. Oh no, and there's a certain rule in racing, I can't quite think of it at the top of my head. What is it? Oh yeah, don't hit your teammate. And Roke has gone into the back of Franco Gamba there in that battle for 9th position. Gamba was actually pitting this lap, so Roke, I mean, you could say probably Roke didn't need to do that. So I imagine Franco Gamba is going to be pretty cheesed off with that, and that's allowed actually the salvage to close up behind Roke behind. Now into the pits comes Franco Lopez for Mercedes for his final stop of the race. It's been a pretty flawless race. He's had no issues whatsoever. The guys behind have been battling all over each other, and yeah, so it's going to be a pretty easy pretty easy victory, it looks like, for Franco Lopez, unless something goes wrong, which it is of course entirely possible. The win is not yet in the bag, and as we look at him coming out of the pits, there's a couple of other drivers that will be pitting. I think Gamba is one of them, I believe, and yes it is. So Lopez comes out and he will keep the lead. So he will come out, looks like, just behind Enis Parachki, will he? Yes, he will come up behind him, and Willows as well. So right now, Lopez is a pit stop ahead of everyone. So as we look at Franco Gamba, who comes in for his final stop of the race, he said he will not be happy with what Roke did to him. And as we look at Gomez, who is on the back of Roke, but Roke will be pitting this lap as well, but makes it a double whammy really for Haas, because Roke didn't need to make it because he was pitting the lap after Gamba. Gomez is going to be there as well. Parachki is a little bit further behind, but he could still be in with a shout, Parachki, of getting some points today. But Roke is going to be pitting at the end of this lap. Gamba will come out, so we can see if that battle between the two Haas drivers continues until the end of the race. Haven't got that long to go. We've only got 17 laps to go of this race. So as we still look at Roke coming into the last sector of the lap, coming through the first of the two right-handers here, coming through the second, now into the penultimate corner, which is kind of a hairpin, I guess you could say. It is pretty tight, and then the pit entry is on the right, which he goes in, and so into the pits comes George Roke for his final stop of the race, and there we go. Goes down to 81 kilometers an hour, and he will put enough fuel into the end of the race. So here we go, Roke comes in, and let's see how quick the stop will be. I wonder if he'll come out actually ahead of, still ahead of Franco Gamba or not. If he doesn't, then there'll be another interesting battle for them for sure. So he comes out of the pits, not a particularly quick stop, and so he's going to come out in 11th position. Chung actually will come out ahead, so he comes out in 12th position, and of course Chung will not want to let Roke go by, considering of what he did to her earlier in the race. So could be another interesting battle there as well. But he has come out ahead of Franco Gamba, I believe. Yep, he's only just actually come into turn 1, so he is comfortably ahead of him. But Tomaselli is going to come into the pits for his final stop of the race right now, running in 8th position. A good recovery from Tomaselli as well. He's performed very well in that car, having started further down the field. So unfortunately couldn't keep Byrne behind. Byrne is actually very far in front. We haven't actually seen much of Byrne really ever since his battles with Sontag early on. He's been pretty invisible, but I suppose that doesn't mean he's not raced well. He has, right now running in a very comfortable 7th position. So as we look at Tomaselli coming into the pits, heading towards the penultimate corner, and he turns left and then goes to the right towards the pit entry, and in he comes. So he comes into the pits, and now he will make his final stop of the race. So let's see, as Tomaselli comes in, comes through the pit lane, and there's actually going to be, I think it's the Toro Rosso there. Toro Rosso mechanics are out into the pits as well. So I believe that will be for, it'll either be for Chung or, no, it's Parachki who's in. So Parachki in for his final stop of the race as well. And there we go, out of the pits, now into the pits is Parachki. Had a decent performance, I have to say, for his debut in the OC. Performed pretty well, I have to say. As I said, he's still within a shout for some points, as Florian Volker has come in for his final stop of the race. So he's going to card in P5. It looks well, a very comfortable P5, but the question is, will he finish higher up the order? Of course, I think Carr's going to pit as well. As we look at Mackenzie, comes out right into the path of Parachki, and Mackenzie, it couldn't have really, everything that's gone wrong, that could have gone wrong for Mackenzie has gone wrong, and he's around, and he gets hit by the McLaren of Roberto Gamba. He doesn't get any damage, Roberto Gamba does. It's been a pretty poor race from Roberto Gamba as well. But it's that pit X again. We haven't actually seen that many instances from it this year. I think that's one of the few spins we've had in this race weekend. But unfortunately for Roberto Gamba, coming around the first corner, unfortunately couldn't get out of the way of Mackenzie there, and loses his front wing. Now here is Tomaselli on the back of Roke, and Tomaselli just knocks Roke wide there. And see what happened. We'll see the onboard as we look at Roke rejoining the circuit, and Gamba having to brake quite a bit there to not go into the back of Roke. Made a little error there, could have gone past him but didn't. So Roke is now behind, well, no, he's ahead of, Franco Gamba, but unfortunately not what he would have wanted. Chung is in the pits for Toro Rosso, so at least Roke won't have to deal with her. But for Roke, it could have gone so much better for him. The points are slipping from his grasp at this moment in time. He's on the back of now Turunen himself, who is still within, who still has a chance of some points today, but as I said, he's not. We've not seen. It's not been a great performance from him really. Roberto Gamba, who is finally coming into the pits for his final stop, as Willows has just lapped Evan Byrne in the Renault there. Mingascal right now running in 4th position actually, so Mingascal could get a top 4. I think a top 4 would be a pretty good result, but of course I don't imagine he'll hold it, because Volk will go past him, and well, I don't know actually if Moitin will. We'll see actually. We'll see how far behind he is, but here's Tomaselli on the back of Jones, who at the moment is running in 9th position, so he does have a chance of points here, Jones, it seems, although clearly Tomaselli will be the quicker car. Jones will actually be pitting in a couple of laps' time, but it'll be on fresher tyres, or the freshest out of everyone around him, so we'll see what happens with Jones towards the end of this race. We haven't seen much of him either, but not performed badly, I have to say. Roke has finally got past now Turunen, and now Gamba is all over the back of him. As we look at Gal coming towards the end of the lap, Tomaselli all over the back of Jones, trying to get through here. He's not going to make the move stick here. He's going to have to wait until the first corner. Willows is in the pits for his final stop, so Carl will take 2nd position. But of course, I think Carl will be pitting later on. Well, pitting before the end. So Gamba, unfortunately, not being able to get the run on now, turning on the straight. Although that might be because, oh no, I thought Gal was behind him, but Parachki's there as well. So we're looking at Gamba all over the back of the Force India off now. Tiranen can't make the move stick, so Willows comes up behind Volker, so he is going to have to overtake Volker on track. So the overcut definitely very powerful here, as Gamba trying to make a move on now. Tiranen very, very close, and as he made it stick there, no, he still can't, and that's going to allow Parachki to close up behind and possibly get involved in this battle as well. But Franco Lopez right now is just chilling at the front of the field. Evan Byrne right now running in 8th, but Gomez in front of him is pitting. Carr is pitting as well, and so is Jones actually. So a number of drivers pitting on the same lap, as we look at Tomaselli coming into the back straight, or the back left straight I should say, as we look at Roke, who's now on the back of Mikkel's Gal here, and Tomaselli trying to get past Jones, but he needs to realise that Jones is going to be pitting this lap. Gomez of course is in as well, so I don't know who's going to finish in the points positions in the lower reaches here, because any one of these guys could, you know, Gomez, Tomaselli, Jones, Roke, Gamba. I mean, there's so many that could, but unfortunately I think the top 7 is secure, but who finishes 8 downwards, it's going to be very interesting indeed to see what happens. So as we look at Jones, he's going to be now dipping to the right, which he does, goes in. Carr is into the pits for his final stop of the race for Ferrari, and he changes all 4 tyres. And the question is, where will he come out onto the circuit? So he's already obviously down second, he's dropped down to 3rd behind Gal, but Gal's never going to be able to hold, as Carr has actually been held in the pits, and Carr has been held in the pits by, I think that was Jones, who was coming in for his stop, so that's not good for Carr. He's going to drop behind both Willows and Volker here. We've got a yellow flag out at the moment. Oh, there's been a major accident at the first corner. What is happening here? Gomez is out, and Gal's been caught up in it as well. Gomez and Roke, and I believe that could have been the pit exit to do with that. And oh dear me, so that takes Gomez and Roke out of this race, and that means no points for either of those 2 drivers. And we need to see a replay of what happened there, but I definitely think, because Gomez was pitting, it must have been the pit exit again. Both cars out of the race. Let's see. So Roke was actually unlapping himself past Miguelos Gal into the first corner, and you could just see Gomez coming out of the pits there and then into the first corner. I mean, that was just a very unfortunate collision there. And for Miguelos Gal, who was actually running in a legit 2nd place, was also in the wrong place and really got caught up in that. Got stuck behind the car of Roke there, and loses a massive ton of time. Actually loses 2nd place to both Volker and Willows there. So for Gal, who actually did have a chance, did actually have a possible chance of a podium, that has now completely gone out of the window. But now here is the battle for P2. This is between Willows and Volker for Ferrari and Mercedes, and crucially for them, they have got traffic ahead of them. The battle for 9th position between Franco Gamba and Enis Parachki. Now Carr is going past Gal into turn 1. This is for 4th position, and he makes it stick. Morgan right now running in 6th place. He could get Gal as well, and Gal, who as I said could have had a chance of podium, probably is going to, well, he's not going to get a podium now because he's on a 1 stop, and his tyres are probably pretty dead now. But this is a battle for P2. We know what's going to happen with P1 I think. But as we look at, there's Volker, there's Willows, and there is the battle for P9 between Franco Gamba and Enis Parachki. And as we look at Lopez in P1, and Moitin has moved up into 5th position, and Moitin has passed Gal for 5th. And we see this was the move, Moitin on the back of Gal heading into the first corner, and that is a pretty easy overtake for Moitin past his fellow Hungarian. Now here's a battle once again for P2. Look at that, 43 seconds the gap between Volker and Lopez. That is ridiculous. Of course, I forget, of course, it could be a Mercedes 1-2 at this point. And as we look at Franco Gamba, Franco Gamba is out! And with 5 laps to go, Franco Gamba's engine has gone, and that is going to be no points for him. So Parachki has gained 9th position out of that, and so now Tiranen is going to get 10th at this moment in time. Jones is in 12th, so, and there we go. And wow, gutting for Franco Gamba and gutting for Haas as well. They were both in with a chance of some good points today, and they are going to get absolutely nothing from it. And I suppose it all stemmed really from when Roke went to the back of Franco Gamba. Then obviously Roke got hit off. It was such a good day for Haas, and then everything just started to go wrong really. So there we are. So Franco Gamba is out of this race. Parachki will take 9th position, and that will probably be pretty secure for him. Now Tiranen will take 10th at this moment in time. So now Tiranen, despite not really performing very well this race, could still steal a point. Although Jones is going to be on is going to be much quicker than him, I would imagine. But Franco Gamma, who'd been holding up Prachki for quite a few laps now, Prachki couldn't make the move stick, and then there it goes, right there. The engine couldn't take it, and Prachki managed to make the move. I think that there might have been a little bit of contact there even, possibly. But here we are looking at Joseph Willows on the back of Volker. Does he finally make the move for P2? And it looks like he will. Volker just can't really hold him off much longer. Willows on the inside. Surely this is going to be the move. And yes, it is. So Willows does make it up into second position. Now here is the battle. This is for 10th position, and actually Jones could overtake now Turunen here, and he will, and he storms past now Turunen thanks to the help of the Red Bull of Miguel Gal, who was lapping them, and he might even try and go past Gal into the first corner here, which he doesn't. But wow, great move there from Jones, and now Turunen, and Chung could even be in with a chance of grabbing a point as well if she can get past now Turunen in the Force India. He's on the inside as Chung. Can she do it? No, she can't quite make the move there, but a great move there by Etienne Jones, and he could snatch the last point, and I think he's certainly going to keep it, really, because just as I say that, he makes a mistake there and nearly loses the position he gained, but that's going to allow now Turunen and Chung to close right back up to him. So, but Jones, as I said, has performed very well this race, pitting later than anyone else. He's clearly the quicker car, and so it's going to be very interesting to see if he can hold 10th position. That is, if Chung can get past now Turunen, but we shall see. At this moment in time, Willows making the gap to Volker, and actually Volker could be under pressure here from Carr in fourth. So as we're now on to the final lap of this race, and Franco Lopez, I mean, this is the way to endear yourself to the Mercedes team. There were many drivers rumoured to go to Mercedes when we announced he was going to retire. Franco Lopez was one of them, and in last season he was getting a lot of bad luck. Nothing was really going his way. But he got the Mercedes C, and everyone was pretty delighted for him, as he had actually a brief yellow flag. And Chung is around, and now Turunen is off, and so Jones has surely got 10th in the bag now. As now Turunen rejoins right in front of Chung and also Lopez. As Lopez sneaks through, his heart must have skipped a beat. As I think Lopez is going to go around the outside of now Turunen. Does he make it stick? No, he can't. And I thought Chung had the move done there, but didn't quite have the momentum. And now that actually could allow Lean Campana to even get in this battle. Really, but as I was saying with Lopez, never won a top tier race, had a lot of bad luck next season, so people were thinking if the Mercedes seat was slipping from his grasp, and fortunately it didn't. He's got the Mercedes seat, and this is the way to endear yourself, as I said, to the Mercedes team. Franco Lopez coming round the final corner, 58 laps, and Franco Lopez is going to win the Australian Grand Prix to take his first win of the season, and his first win for Mercedes. That is some performance from the Argentinian drivers. Now Turunen holds off Chung and Campana behind, but what on earth happened? This was obviously when Lopez was going to lap them, so Chung trying to make a move on the inside of now Turunen, and now Turunen moved over. They got a little bit too close for comfort. Contact. Chung spins. Now Turunen went over the grass, rejoined, obviously in front of Chung, just to compound the misery. I bet she was pretty annoyed she didn't get past. Roberto Gamba, a race to forget for him, in 15th position. Burns had to come across the line in 7th. A pretty solid race from the Irishman, so he'll take that, I would say. Willows will take second place. I think he'll be pretty happy with that, considering the fact his start didn't go very well. He'll take second. Never really on the pace of Lopez, really. He was just in his own league. Second position for him, and it looks like Volker is going to hold off Carr for third position. And as they come towards the line, Carr's not got the run, and yet Volker will take third position. Tomaselli will take 8th, a good race from him as well. Enis Barachki on his debut in the OC will take 9th position. I think he'll be fairly happy with that, considering the fact he was stuck low down the order for a lot of this race. Roland Moitin, a shout out to him. What a performance by him. Didn't get a podium, but he was in with a shout for a little bit, and he really defended well against the top cars, which were much quicker than him. Gal, a very lonely race for him in 6th. Etienne Jones, another great performance for him. He will take 10th position. So there we go. The race is over. So we'll take a look at the full results. So Lopez winning the race by 34 seconds ahead of Joseph Willows, Florian Volker 3rd, Amakar 4th, Roland Moitin 5th, Miguel Gal the last on the lead lap in 6th, Evan Burns 7th, Paulino Tomaselli 8th, Enis Barachki 9th, and Etienne Jones 10th. Last car just a lap down. Thierry now turned the race to forget him in 11th. Franco Lopez actually setting the fastest lap as well at 1:23.7. Laura Chung 12th, Lincoln Palmer 13th, Jamie McKenzie 14th, Roberto Gamba 15th. The last car to finish with Franco Gamba, George Roque, Gabriel Gomez, Joel Hutter, Kurosima De Rosa, Felix Sontag and Maxime Titkov, the cars that did not finish this race. there we are. We'll take a look, of course, now at the driver's standings and the constructor standings. Of course, the driver's standings, just like was in the race. Obviously, 25 points for the winner: Franco Lopez, Willows, Volker, Carr, Moitin, Gal, Byrne, Tomaselli, Parechki, and Jones. And of course, the rest of the order being as normal. Now Turin 11th, but I mean, performance-wise, now Turin and Hill, not a good performance by him at all compared to his teammate Moitin, who really outshone him. That is for sure. The rest of the order, of course: Chung, Campana, McKenzie, and Roberto Gamma. The cars are finished with Gamma, Roque, Gomez, Hutter, De Rosa, Sontag, and Titkov, the cars who've yet to, of course, finish this race. So I imagine a little change at the next round in Bahrain. So we'll now take a look at the constructor standings after the first round in Australia. Mercedes leading by 10 points ahead of Ferrari in second, who themselves are 20 points ahead of Force India in third. Red Bull fourth, Renault in fifth, Red Bull fourth with 8, Renault fifth with 6, Sauber sixth with 4, Scuderia Toro seventh with 2, and Mano eighth with 1, with Williams, McLaren, and Haas with no points. So there we go. That was the Australian Grand Prix. A good first round to start off the season. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to, as usual, vote for your driver of the day and give the race a rating out of 10. Don't forget to check out the links in the description, merch, join our Discord, Twitter, all the links are in the description. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you for the next round, the Bahrain Grand Prix at the Bahrain International Circuit. See you there.